You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the September 8th, 2022 meeting of the Michigan City Sustainability Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Okay, so it's 4:30 p.m. and I would like to call to order the regular monthly meeting of the Michigan City Sustainability Commission. Today is September 8th, 2022. May I call for the roll?
Tim Bauer.
Excused.
Tristan Bogart.
Here.
Bailey Chavis, excused. Brian Dabney, absent. Andy Johns Davis.
Here.
Laura Henderson, I'm here. Clarence Halsey, not here.
Absent.
Daisy Lee, excused.
Excused.
Faye Moore,
Here.
Nancy Boldenauer,
Here.
Mary Kate Neary, excused. Angela Reynolds,
Here.
Latanya Troutman,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. Our first order of business is to approve the August 11th, 2022 minutes. Will somebody make a motion to do that, please?
I make a motion to approve the August the 11th, 2022 minutes.
Thank you, Faye. Who will second that?
I second the motion.
Andy, thank you. All approved, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, passes unanimously. Thank you. Also, we have a reappointment of Angela Reynolds as a student commissioner, and this will be for one school year, which will begin on September 1st, 2022 and run through August 31st, 2023. And I want to acknowledge Angie because she has gone from Barker Middle School to the Michigan City High School this year. Oh, I always do that for some reason. I'm so sorry. She's gone from Krieger Middle School to the Michigan City High School, so congratulations.
Thank you.
And she served on Daisy's garbology, waste reduction project team, so thank you for that. And you were part of the middle schoolers that actually got recycling containers into most of the city parks except for Washington Park Beach and Patriot Park. So congratulations on that.
And she was
So-
also very instrumental, very useful at the Earth Day extravaganza.
Yes, absolutely. So I hope you have that in your calendar because we would hope that you'll come back and help out again this year. Okay, who would make a motion to reappoint Angela Reynolds to our
I
commission?
move that Angela Reynolds be reappointed.
Laura, thank you. Who will second that?
I'll second
Okay. Latanya, Nikki, thank you. Everybody in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any objections? Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
You can't get rid of us. And just thank you for everything you've contributed. Thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you guys for letting me be a part of the commission, and it's been really cool. Yeah.
Great. Thank you much. Okay, today we have a guest presenter. Jim and I actually ran into each other for another reason, which has to do with getting solar panels installed on our homes. Are yours installed now?
Mine are coming tomorrow.
Yours are coming tomorrow. Okay. Mine have gotten rescheduled again for October. So I'm hoping before winter happens that I might have mine. So also he was introduced to us by Dahlia Zigas, who was our first chairperson for the Sustainability Commission, who now serves on the Michigan City Common Council. And she thought that we would be interested in what what Jim has to present to us. And he's also brought a special guest whom I'm sure that he will introduce to us. And your last name is pronounced Melowitz, is that
Melowitz,
correct?
yes.
Okay, James Melowitz.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming today, and we're all ears. He'll give us a brief presentation, about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll have the opportunity to ask questions. Okay?
Should I
Okay.
just sit here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just relax.
Well, basically, I'm the part owner of a solar energy farm, we call it, which is a solar array on Falls Road, where we produce, we have a 1 acre array that we produce covered with solar panels, and we produce electricity that we sell to NIPSCO. And we have wrestled with the problem of weed control and grass control there, and came upon what I thought was a great idea to use sheep to mow the grass. And as it turns out, after I researched it, that sheep are actually the best lawnmowers in the world. And in fact, in the solar industry around the country, it is well known that this is the case, that of all the animals and all the means of cutting your grass and weeds, sheep just work perfect. In fact, there was a story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal this week about
2 days ago.
this exact concept. And so
And-
I approached Brett. This is Brett Kessler. He owns the largest sheep farm in the county, I believe, up in around LaPorte. And I approached him with the idea of getting some sheep on our farm. And he was very receptive to the idea, very excited about it, and in fact is doing it on several other solar arrays elsewhere in this area of the state this year. So what we discovered in the process of getting this going, that we have to obtain a zoning use variance for this property, which is located on Paws Road across from the Army Reserve Center, if you generally know that area. So that's what our next step is, to file the petition and get it in front of the BZA to discuss it. So we came here at Nancy's suggestion to basically let you know about what we would like to do, and hopefully get your blessing for this idea, because we think it's a really good sustainability issue and very progressive for the community to think about doing something like this. A little bit more detail, and I'll let Brett talk about the sheep, since that's his thing. Our array is fully fenced and locked, and the problem is with weeds, they grow under the panels, they grow through the panels, they grow everywhere, and we don't want to use herbicides, which we have not used, and so we're forced to mow it, which means we have to use big, fossil fuel burning mowers to get in there and do it, and they pose a great risk to us of damaging the panels, because they're big machines and they're going up and down, and in fact they've already damaged our fence previously several months ago, because that's just what they do. And they also can't get under the panels, which would require extensive weed whacking and lots of hours to go through there and to do that. Sheep, however, it turns out, are the perfect animal for this problem. They eat everything, but they don't eat wires, and they don't climb fences, and they don't make noise, and they just munch, and they eat virtually everything that's growing there to the extent that we need it. So I guess I'll let Brett talk a little bit about the sheep part of this.
Okay, thank you. My name's Brett Kessler. I reside at 4189 West State Road 2, just west of the fairgrounds in LaPorte. We raise roughly 175 mother ewes, have 10, 15 mature rams, and then 60 ewe lambs and ram lambs. Our family's been involved in sheep production for over 40 years. We have North Country Cheviot sheep, we have Katahdin sheep, we have Dorper sheep for the most part. We have a couple other breeds mixed in there because I've got 3 boys and everybody can't decide what breed of sheep they want to raise. The last couple of years, we've been getting involved in the solar grazing industry. And this year, we currently have sheep at 5 other sites outside of Jim's. Jim's lasted all of about 2 hours. I placed the sheep out at 5:50 on 5/12, 2022. And we had them removed by 9:02, 2022. 5/12/2022. I dropped the sheep off, sent Jim a picture, put 5 rams out on their 1 acre site. Currently, we're stocking rates at our other 5 sites, excuse me, at 8 to 9 ewes per acre. The largest of that being 9.5 acres, and Jim's would have been the smallest. I didn't think there was an issue. Honestly, other than the chiropractor's office next door, it's corn and bean field around it. It's right down the road from Powell's Road, or from the high school. It's right across from the armory. Great place to have sheep out there grazing. When I was coming into town, went past Doc Bailey's and saw the 1 acre site behind Doc Bailey's there off East Michigan. Said, hey, they've got that all mowed. That'd be a great site for sheep because we're not using gas, we're not using herbicides. You know, sheep. If we're gonna go green, let's go green. We've had little no issues anywhere. None of these sites have running water on them. We patrol the sites about every 10 days and put fresh water in for the animals. We're going at 5 gallons per animal per 10-day cycle. We've had, out of the whole summer, we have had 2 ewes die, but you have to remember that our ewes range anywhere from 2 years to 12 years of age. The productive cycle of the sheep is 8 to 12 years. Both those sheep were 7 and 10 years, or 7 and 12 years old. It happens. Well, when we either see it or are notified, they're picked up within 24 hours. That's in our contract. We were very excited to work with Jim. I thought it was a great thing to move in. We put those 5 sheep out there. Immediately we were notified by Director Euler that we were in violation of several city codes.
Actually, the biggest problem, I think there was some misunderstanding with some of the city people, but the biggest issue is the zoning issue.
The zoning issue.
And
honestly, with the being in cornfield right next to it, I wasn't even worried about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't even thinking inside city limits because other than the chiropractor's office next door, there's nobody around.
There's
And honestly, I thought it would be a very good, you know, people pulling up, seeing the sheep out there grazing. It's a great thing. All the sites are, the other sites are all controlled through AES, which is out of Arizona. And they've been very happy with the control that the animals have done. They, as Jim mentioned, they eat virtually everything except Canadian thistle, which we walk around when we're watering and whack the Canadian thistle down. It's not that big a deal. They do a great job up to the fence. Outside the fence, that's outside of my control. That's for either Jim or the property owner to take care of. Many of our sheep are high value sheep. So when people think that, oh, we're just gonna dump them out there and not worry about them, that's totally wrong. In particular, in Jim's case, he got our stud buck flock, which means those animals are valued at up to $10,000 a piece. I don't want to lose them. I don't want to replace them. My wife works at Michigan City High School, so the game plan was for her to keep an eye on the water. And I will be the first to admit, the day they got dropped off, when they got kicked out of the trailer, those 5, I did not place a water tank out there. My son had his band concert coming up in 45 minutes, so I dropped the rams off. I went to the concert, and I came back with the water. Director Euler gave me 12 hours to get the sheep out of there after I filled the water tanks. So I will put that blame on me. for that short amount of time.
Well, like I
Sheep are very water hardy.
I think that was a misunderstanding.
That there was a misunderstanding there, but we want to work together to make this all sustainable for everybody. Jim talked about his solar panels. You talked about your solar panels. I've had mine on my barn since last October, and it's been great. I love it. Other than paying my service fee to NIPSCO every month just to be a customer, but they're paying for themselves. They don't lie. So we're here to hopefully get the ball rolling on this. It's a great idea. I mean, I'm open to questions. Jim, I believe, would be open to questions. If anybody here on the board has questions for us at this time.
I would emphasize also that the array is completely fenced and locked
Yeah.
by a 6-foot fence, so that nobody can get in and the sheep can't get out. And then we are only talking from about early May to beginning of October, or into
Depending
October,
on
weather.
moisture and weather.
So during the winter, they would not be there. It's only during the grass growing season. And during that time of year, they actually have more shade by being under the panels than they would have typically in a typical field where they might be grazing. So it's actually a better environment for them that way. And because it's not winter, they don't require any further shelter for the sheep. So those are important points to note.
So where are the other places that you have sheep at?
Currently on 450 North in Valparaiso,
Okay.
on 42nd Street in Hobart, down on State Road 10 in Lake Village, and then we've got another field back on State Road 10 closer to San Pierre area right now. So,
Okay, so it sounds like most of them are really in what would be considered rural areas. more
well,
or less.
however, you got to remember Lake and Porter County are mostly all zoned,
Well, that's true also, okay.
and we have not had any issues.
No issues at all.
with any
Okay,
of the zoning requirements from those because the one is, of course, it's licensed Hobart, because Hobart was the first one to take over Lake County. And the Valpo one, we haven't had
Okay.
any zoning. The Lake Village one would be the most rural. However, that is butted right up next to the town park. And when they got dropped off there, the township trustee did get a hold of us to say, well, what's the deal here? And we explained to him, and after we explained to her what was going on, she didn't have an issue.
Okay, great.
And there are no longer sheep at that site due to the topographical, that's a very sandy area. So after you got through that first munch, there wasn't a whole lot of lunch left for the sheep. So we're not going to let them sit there and starve.
yeah.
And like I said, especially over here at Jim's, for what we put out there, it's a 1 acre site. We're not going to put more than, and I believe when we originally talked, we talked 4 to 5 or a dozen, and then I said 4 to 5 would probably work.
So we were sort of experimenting with it.
Experimenting to see how it would work, and
Because our idea was not to destroy the grass or there, because it's planted with grass, but the weeds take over.
Sure.
So we wanted to just have them eat down, but it will still be
but maintain a green.
and then it will grow back.
Yeah,
It grows back.
so you're sort of rotating the sheep in and out
Yep.
depending on.
And that's in all the contracts.
feed
that
that's available then.
If
Okay.
there's no longer if there's no longer a viable feed source there, that they're removed until it reaches a minimum height of I forget what ours said. 12 inches or
Okay.
12 to 16 inches somewhere in there, and then they come back in and regraze.
Okay.
Let me just add that we started, my partner and I, who's not here today, we started the solar farm because when we learned about the feed-in tariff program that NIPSCO had, and we thought it would be a great thing to do to put in solar. I mean, we just thought from an environmental standpoint, it was just a beautiful project to do. And so it took us several years to get it off the ground and navigate the whole system to make it happen. And so our goal is to do it as sustainably as we can. And this is just one piece of that. article.
Sure, sure. And I did send your article out to everybody the day that I received it from you, so I hope people had a chance to look at that. Nikki, I believe you had a question?
So the zone use variance that you need to file a petition for would allow the sheep to just actually be on the premises? Is that what this is for?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that was the biggest sort of complaint. What other barrier would sort of be in the way once you get past the zone? Because I heard you say several.
She had, and I'm speaking, Director Euler gave us, under 3 acres requires special use permit. We need special exception approval that allows up to 10 sheep per acre.
Well, those are all of the zoning issues.
And those are the zoning issues, and then she was starting to throw code violations at us for having the livestock on,
City
under,
limits.
Yeah,
in city limits,
within
under,
city limits, yeah.
under 1 acre.
Yeah, gotcha.
I think there was a misunderstanding about what sheep actually require and what we were doing with it, and it was, that was unfortunate, but the real issue here is the zoning.
The zoning
the use
variance that you're asking for,
Right,
okay.
and I think once we get that if you were to approve the variance request and then goes on further, I think a lot of these would,
Yeah, and it's specifically for your site, so that's.
For that site at this
it's
time,
just-
correct.
Yeah,
Yep,
okay,
yep,
so just
yep.
that 1 acres
I'm
there.
not asking for
That's what
any
we're
other
talking
solar sites
about.
at this time.
Okay, so it's just the 1 acres. I actually paid attention when I drove past the last time because you really don't even notice that it's there unless you're looking pretty hard.
Yep. And I know the one thing I got was that, you know, there's intended development. I understand that, but we've also been talking intended development on the other side of Evergreen Terrace there. And we've been sitting there waiting on that for 25 years now. So,
yeah.
So another question is, if granted the zoning permit or the variance, how long would you have, I mean, would this be like a life granted, or would you have to reapply because of said issue, if there's some expected property, or like how does that work?
Well, my understanding is that typically when a use variance is granted, it's basically as long as you are using the property for the intended use, which is at this point our solar farm there. But I am not a real estate expert, so I'm not really sure about that, but I think that's the way it works.
Okay, one more question. Have there been any known or cited complaints by other businesses or local area or surrounding people?
I'm sorry,
Have there been complaints of any sort or known, that have been known to you from other people?
about sheep?
Yeah, about the sheep itself.
Nobody's filed a formal complaint, well, that I know of, I don't.
Right.
But I've spoken to the owner, the person in charge of the Army Reserve Center across the street, and he's completely supportive of the idea. He doesn't see any issue with it at all. The owner of the building that is to our east, he is a chiropractor, runs a chiropractor's office there. He is not crazy about the idea. And I think that would be really the only person that would possibly oppose it.
And his parking lot actually is on the side where your solar panels are.
Right, his office is separated
Yeah.
by a very large parking lot.
Yeah,
Between
yeah.
us and them, yeah.
Laura?
I'm curious, because I've been interested in native plants between solar panels. I was wondering if you had investigated that at all, and if there's a lot of problems with it, which makes this a better solution.
We looked into, we weren't really aware of the pollinating plant idea until after everything had already been seeded and everything was growing and we were a little bit down the road. And I don't think that would work because things would grow. I mean, we still have to have some sort of way of controlling it.
You definitely have to pick your species.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could plant other things that might be more conducive and we still have to control the growth of
Yeah.
it. And whether it's with mowers or with, once they get so high, then they threaten to come up through the panels
Sure.
as well, and whatever the species is. I mean, we're happy to plant whatever's good out there. Although frankly, the last time I was walking through the weeds out there were lots of bees and bugs enjoying all these bad weeds. But
And to kind of pony back on his response, you have to remember at what height these solar panels are built. I believe Jim's are at 24 inches.
Oh,
So once anything,
that's more like 3 feet. The
the
bottom,
bottom of yours is 3 feet. Okay, the other ones are
the
24.
lowest point is typically 3 feet above.
Okay, my other sites are lower. But the problem is, once you start to have, even with a native species,
sure.
once those start to grow above, then you're starting to block.
Blocks.
You're blocking the blocks, and once you start to block the blocks, you're kind of defeating the purpose of what
Yeah.
we're trying to do out there.
And then the bigger problem too is that they grow up between the panels. And so then that the mowers can't get that. And so that's another issue, is getting under the racking to actually address that issue. And the only way to do that manually is with weed whackers, and that's a very intensive process to do, or herbicides. And we've looked at that, and I really don't want to do that. I think that's the worst solution to this.
Yeah, I want to commend your stand against using herbicides out there, so thank you for that.
How much does using sheep cost?
How much wine?
How much does it cost to use?
I was
the
actually paying Jim $100 an acre to run the sheep out there on
Really?
this one.
Free food.
Okay.
The other sites I'm getting paid $200 an acre to run the sheep out there,
Okay.
because I thought this site was a good site to do as a promotion area.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So I was willing to pay Jim
We
$100.
had a lot of weeds for his sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, but at the other sites I'm getting paid $200 an acre to run the
Okay.
sheep.
Okay. The, you mentioned the solar farm by Doc Bailey's.
Mhm.
I believe that belongs to the school system.
Michigan City
Yeah.
Area Schools.
And each of the schools, I believe, has a
Have the
solar array.
Yeah.
So if you can get the zoning straightened out, you could talk to
One
the
small
school.
step, and then
Yeah.
we'll carry it forward. But I'm not gonna lie, I have not come in this way to Michigan City in a long time. And Doc Bailey is a cousin of my wife's, and I happened to look at his place, and I saw the solar field back there, but you can see it all nicely mowed, and it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what are we giving up to what are we gaining to? I mean, you figure the lawnmower, the man, the fuel. Are we gaining anything, or
Yeah,
wrong Peter to
I
pay
don't
Paul
know.
type issue? So.
I don't know how to compare the cost between the mowing and the sheep.
Yeah, it's not really a cost is an issue though. I mean, it's really the most sustainable way of solving the
For
problem.
you or for me, yes.
I think it is.
But if you're trying to sell it to the school board, they might be more interested in the money.
Well,
Yeah.
but if what are they paying a man to be out?
Exactly.
Are they paying $20 an hour for a guy to be out there mowing an acre, and he's gonna mow?
Costs you a lot more than $20.
It's gonna cost you a lot more than $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Plus the fuel, plus the equipment.
Yep.
So, but, yeah.
Sir, how does this support your farming, like using this mechanism versus?
It lets us stockpile our forages at home, so we're able to when we go around and start bringing everybody back, instead of having everybody grazing on our stuff all year, we've got it stockpiled, or it's grown up, so we can turn them out in late October, early November, and let them graze on that until good old Lake Michigan turns on and covers it up with snow. And it's a win-win. There's less parasites, there's less disease possibility because the sheep are spread out, and none of the diseases that a sheep would carry over to humans. But when you're talking parasites, you're talking internal and external. But none of those are all species specific. It's not like somebody's dogs are going to get lice, because the dog lice is different than a sheep lice. Sheep lice is different than cattle lice. Human lice is different than all animal lice. So it does benefit our farm. but it's also a way for us to give back. And instead of us being out running our tractors and mowers to make more feed for the animals, the sheep are out doing what those machines would do.
Well, I read the article and I thought the article was really great, and I think you guys really did a good job of expanding on sort of what the article suggests. And it does help me personally because I'm working on a similar issue in West Virginia with some farmers. So thank you.
What part of West Virginia, if I may ask?
Near Charleston.
Okay. Yep. I'm out to Petersburg and Lewisburg a couple times a year, so.
It's actually kind of more of a fight for community solar, which is like a bad word here, but you know, for the sake of the argument, it's like, you know, a farm would be a great place to have the solar array, of course, and then, you know, allowing the farmers to support each other with the sheep
Right.
is also great, and that way it sort of gives back to the community and everybody wins.
Yep.
Energy is also cheaper, so
Right.
it's a definite win.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you.
So she might need copies of your pictures.
So, how's the commission feeling right now? Do you have enough information? Would you like to make a decision for this gentleman today?
Well, I'm wondering what can we do besides tell the Board of Zoning Appeals that
Well,
we support?
we can, this is the same thing we did for the light issue, when we actually supported the city council.
That's before I was here.
It was before you were here, okay. So we actually, we can't pass ordinances, of course, okay, but what we can do is we can take a vote of confidence and a vote of support that we believe this is a good idea, you know, for all of the reasons that Nikki just got done citing. And then, you know, the two of them would then have our recommendation when they went before the zoning board. So that's what we could do, okay?
I
So,
move that we do that. I just think it does.
Oh, there you go.
can I have that in the form of a sentence? Or Nikki, do you want to do that?
She's gonna write it out.
Because,
I have one quick question.
because, oh, okay.
I'll make it quick. Is the main concern, does it seem to be that it's going to be a smelly farm in the city? Is this kind of what I'm gathering? And obviously, I don't think so. It's a few sheep. It's, you know, or are they afraid they're going to break loose? They're not cougars.
That I don't really know. I have not been contacted by anyone
Okay,
to that.
it's just a general zoning issue.
When you have chain link fence at 8-foot posts, sheep are not going to get out of that.
Right, exactly.
I'm going to tell you right now. And I've got 4 other farms to.
Right. So I'm just curious.
Are you ever worried about a predator getting in? Sure, that can happen.
Anywhere, your dog.
And that's where I go back to where I started at 440 and said, you know, if we have a deceased sheep and somebody notifies us, I'm there in less than 24 hours. I mean, I was in Nashville on Tuesday, I was in Detroit on Sunday. I will be there within 24 hours. You call me, I'll be there.
I think there's a bit of misunderstanding of the unknown here. In that,
Yeah.
you know, there is some of that perception that we're going to have a huge livestock herd in there, and they're going to reek like a field full of cows, and that is just absolutely nonsense.
It's 5 sheep, I mean.
5 sheep or half a dozen
Right,
sheep
it
spread out
doesn't seem-
over an acre, you're not even going to know they're there. I mean, unless you go looking for them, and that's the reality of it. And so I think it's a little bit unusual. It's different.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it doesn't fit within the normal parameters of the way that developers think, or I should say the city zoning ordinance is geared for. You know, it's a different situation. I mean, those laws were developed before solar panels even came around. I mean, this is a whole new thing. We have a whole new situation that calls for this type of a solution as the best solution. And so we're trying to get that adapted to a modern problem with this. and to you, but in a way, it's sort of interesting because we're using a very, very old
Right.
method of taking care of a problem for
Ironic.
modern technology, energy producing thing.
We're going back to when the president used to graze sheep on the front lawn to keep from having to mow it.
I know.
mean, that's what we're doing.
That's amazing.
Well, thank you. That explains it. I just wanted to understand some of the other objections.
Yeah, question. So the solar panels, what is the primary use? I understand like you're taking advantage of the NIPSCO, but is it powering anything?
I'm sorry, I don't understand it.
He has a contract with NIPSCO, so he's selling energy back to
Right.
the
So,
Goes straight back to
power
the
company.
yeah, so is that the sole sole priority of this,
Mhm.
or is there something that you're powering that?
No, all our power is sold back to NIPSCO.
Straight to NIPSCO.
It really is a solar farm. Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering if
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
powering
Nikki?
homes or anything.
No.
I really again appreciate.
We also have surveillance out there, by the way.
Okay, we've been spending
So
quite a bit
I'm
of.
talking about the motion.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Motion.
Thank
I'm
you.
trying to get us back. So
Thank you. Thank you, Nikki.
I really support you all, but I do personally think that, you know, the commission needs to just kind of get a little bit more information. Like, I think the commission itself needs to sort of see. I wish you would have brought some pictures so that we can kind of see the parameters. I agree, but as a commission, I just think that we should be able to like table it for now and then make a decision after we've sort of seen some
What,
photos of the property.
the photos of the Paws Road
Yeah,
property?
you have some?
Yeah.
But, and then again, for the sake of time, like I said, I think that we need to sort of, it's been a great discussion. I want to support it. It's not that I don't support it, I just want to see because I've heard you cite several city codes, but I do think that it's not a problem. But that's just off my intuition and not off my full knowledge of sort of where everything is. And I do appreciate Tristan's questions as well. So I make a motion that we table this for now, give the commission.
Okay, so we have two motions on the floor. We have two motions on the floor. You cannot make one until we're finished with this one, okay?
That's fine.
As a matter of procedure, okay? So Laura's made a motion that we do support the use of sheep to control weedy growth on their
Pause road.
1 acre, their 1 acres solar farm that's located on Paws Road. Okay.
During the month of May through October.
No, we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do that, okay?
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna do that, okay? We're just gonna leave it open. We're not the farmers. We don't know when they'll be coming and going, okay? Okay, so that's the motion. So do I have a second for that motion?
So I second that motion.
Faye seconds that motion, okay? And we'll take a vote on that motion then. All in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so that's 4 in favor. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain, okay. Okay, so we have 4 in favor and 1 abstain, so the motion does pass. Okay?
Thank you very much for your time. We'll let you guys get to the rest of your agenda.
Yeah, and best wishes.
Thank you.
I'm always excited when people come up with innovative ideas to take care of issues instead of putting the weed poison on there, you know, and or trying to get equipment in there. And I'm sure that that could damage your wires also very easily.
Correct. And that's
So
why,
this is a really great solution.
and that's why sheep are kind of preferred over like goats, because goats will tend to jump off the panels, goats will jump up and chew on the wires. Sheep tend, I'm not gonna say 100% of the time they don't do that. They
They
tend not to.
to, yeah.
But I thank you very much. If you guys ever need to get a hold of me, my number's 574-323-3506. I'm always available for questions and happy to answer any that you may have, but we thank you very much for your encouragement on this process.
We really appreciate your encouragement, yes, and I hope invite you to stop by when you're on Paws Road and take a look.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
There's plenty of parking right next door.
We're gonna try to get the petition on.
It's not theirs, by the way. Can I point that out? Okay, thank you so very much.
I did say right next door, I didn't say it.
You can park across the street at the
At the armory.
At the armory.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're down to 20 minutes. That's 5 more minutes than we had last time, I think, or maybe double the time we had last time. So as far as waste reduction and garbology, I know that Daisy Lee is not here today. I just want to emphasize again that grant is still available for submission from September 1st to October 6th. I will not be available to work on that. And I believe, let me see, I did speak with Daisy, so their committee is willing and ready to pick this up. Okay, and so far the team that's been assembled is the Sacha Burns of the LaPorte County Solid Waste District, this particular project team from the Michigan City Sustainability Commission, and we need to weave in Shannon Eason of the Michigan City Park and Rec Department. So I think she's the one that may not have been contacted yet, but I know she's been included in emails, okay? So, and then when this committee decides what and how they want to proceed with this, then I'll be available to tie all of this into NIPSCO to see if they would be willing to come up with any match that may be required for a grant that's being applied for. Okay, so are we on the same page with that now? Yeah, okay, thank you. And I know I'm speaking for Daisy on that. Okay, we can skip over the next because Bailey's not here today. Oh, caught you being green.
Oh, Lord. So we did post, I got a Mary Kate, I wish she was here so I could say thank you, and it was awesome. Her story about Abby Neary, and it was really, really well written, and I thought it was great, and I added a few emojis, and it was shared and read quite a bit, and it got Abby's approval, so that's the most important thing that Mary Kate said anyway. And then yeah, I'm looking forward to having Bailey write the next one with her with all of the information that she's gathered from the crematorium and funeral posts and things, the plant the trees specifically, and anything else that she might find entertaining.
Anna, did you forward that final article to me so I could take out the emojis and send it to the press? On Mary.
You had I actually just copied and pasted your updated one that you sent us. I'll resend it to you.
Thank you. Okay.
You did a final edit.
get so many.
It's okay, you get so many. It's okay. You did a final edit, I looked it over, and I added emojis.
And it remained the same.
So, yes.
Okay.
No, I'll just send it back. No.
I'm so sorry.
No. You have way more going on. So no worries at all. I only know that because I just did all of this. So, anyway, it was fun. I think she enjoyed it, so she wants to write another one.
Oh, fantastic.
If she wants to write another one, of course. Not. But she seemed to enjoy. I don't want to speak for her, but she's a good writer. So I would encourage her, Mary Kate, to write another one. Anyway, and then of course I mentioned Bailey writing the next one. And there were a couple minis. You posted one. I think this past month. I would have to double check. And then moving on to some other social media posts. For Tim, he's not here today, but we did talk about briefly some green Halloween things. It's still in the ether right now. We're working out some stuff, so I don't want to give too many details, but look out for green Halloween on Facebook and things like that. And then the region neighbors recently. The Sustainability Commission was invited to speak at the Region Neighbors for Sustainability in Highland, and it was a lovely event. There were, I don't know, around 30 attendees. I was one of the speakers along with Alex from, I can't remember his last name, I will amend that issue. Alex from the Sustainability Office of South Bend, and they're doing a lot of great work. It was a great talk. Highland is interested in possibly starting their own commission, so they had a lot of questions. They've seen a lot of what we've done and congratulated us, and it was just a well-received all-around event. It was great to coordinate with Porter County and do something over that way, and as well as South Bend. So it was a Region Plus event. I think it was really good.
And I also have to say, I've heard already, Andy, that you did a most excellent job.
Thank you.
And the buzz is everybody wants to be Michigan City. So that's very exciting. So thanks for, sharing with them our vision and mission and what we've accomplished. And you're invited to come back again.
Oh, good.
Definitely.
Well,
so,
good. Food was great. People were wonderful.
and you've taken my place now.
And the art was even better. Oh, no.
Take my
I'm
place
not
now
taking
for
your...
these public presentations.
Oh, okay. All right.
The public presentations is what I'm talking about. Okay, great. Okay, any questions or comments regarding that? Okay, Carbon Neutral Indiana, the launch party was phenomenal. I could not believe how excellent the speakers were. So many people in Indiana doing very innovative things regarding green energy, regarding things I wouldn't even have ever thought about, and I don't think I can describe them now. So when that video gets posted, I definitely will be sharing that with everybody, and we can get that up on our Facebook page also. The book, I've seen snippets of it. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be sent out to 3,000 elected officials across the state of Indiana. So hopefully this is going to have an impact as far as getting people on board with the green movement.
Do we know when a book will be?
The book's available right now, so you can order it. It's online. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I don't know when the release.
I don't know. Send an email to Danielle.
Okay.
Okay, great. U.S. Energy's National Renewable Energy Laboratory, NREL, they sent to us an article that the draft article that they want to publish soon. I heard from them again today. Please send us whatever revisions you have. We want to get this posted. And Nikki's helping actually with the quotes because they were rather dry and short. So Nikki's instructing me on how to write engaging quotes that get people to read beyond just the first couple words. So hopefully we'll get that wrapped up the end of this week, which is tomorrow, and sent back to them. This will be published nationally. So Michigan City Sustainability Commission and also Soul Power will be featured in this article. And I think it's going to be really, really great for us, for our commission, and for our community to get this kind of recognition. Okay, and then Northwest Climate Resilience Action Planning Work Group. The next meeting actually is September 15th, which is coming up on Thursday of next week at 1 p.m. It's via Zoom. Did you two get the link for that already?
I'm sure I did.
Okay.
I generally flag those and set them
I will
aside.
be out of the country.
Okay.
Hey.
Okay. So. Okay. So, Andy, if you can be there and take care of that, that would be great. Okay. And I don't even know what they were talking about at the last meeting. Sometimes I get so lost and so confused. Do you remember anything, Laura? They're trying to set up. They're trying to set up markers, so we're able to actually measure what our actions have as far as reducing greenhouse gas emission levels, and I'll say probably about 50% I understand and the other 50% I don't. So I'm just hoping by the end of this process we're going to know how we're going to measure that, and that we'll have solid data to be able to say, for example, the project of placing the recycling bins in our parks. How did that affect what's going to the landfill? Questions like that. So I think at this point, we're still engaged in more questions than we are having
Answers.
markers or answers at this point. But hopefully, by the end of this year, beginning of next, we'll have a better grasp on what's going on with this. Okay, continuing promoting Soul Smart Silver designation. Part of that has to do with the article that's being published by the U.S. Department of Energy. They will be talking about Soul Smart in that article also. And there's also a mention of Solar United Neighbors in the article too. So they're talking about our partners very heavily and how we were able to accomplish what we did through partnerships. NAACP LaPorte County is also mentioned. So I did have a communication from Dan Robinson, and it looks like it's not going to be this fall for round 3, but probably looking more like winter of 2023. So if you want to make a note on that. They're waiting for a decision to come down. It sounds like somebody has filed a court case or a lawsuit. It would be against the state of Indiana because they passed the law which reversed the net metering. So they're going to be watching that and hoping to get a favorable outcome on that. And then Dan felt that they have a reason to be able to go ahead and promote solar panel installation. Personally, I don't think this is a big break it or make it, because the people I know that are going ahead anyhow, they're doing it.
Right.
Okay, they're just doing it. They don't care if they're going to get a kickback from NIPSCO or what the rate's going to be that they're going to get paid for the energy that they're producing. What they're most concerned about is
Lowering their bills and
lowering
clean
their
energy.
bills and clean energy. And clean energy seems to be what's really motivating a lot of people to go ahead with solar panel installation. So I think this is a conversation that will need to be continued, and we may need to convince Dan and Zach Schlack with Solar United Neighbors Indiana that from what we're seeing, this doesn't seem to be what's going to prevent people from installing.
Right. A friend of mine's on Roble Avenue was NIPSCO helped him get solar panels put on his house.
Oh, okay,
NIPSCO.
great,
Wow.
great, wonderful.
So when you say
Glad to hear
winter
that.
2023, are you talking about January or December?
Not December.
January, more like
January,
Okay.
yeah, or even later
Like
than
this
that.
coming winter?
Yeah, this coming winter 2023, not 2022.
Right.
Okay, great. And then we have oh, this is your thing, Faye, if you want to talk about this. This is the press conference that happened.
Nancy forwarded the YouTube. Did any of you get to see it? Okay. What is the NAACP have a lawsuit out, and they have I take that back. They don't have a lawsuit on electric vehicles. There's a House Bill 1221 about electric vehicles, and so an alliance was formed, the Indiana Alliance for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion of Electric Vehicle Infrastructure and Economic Opportunity. That's the whole thing for the alliance, the name of the alliance.
Okay.
And Barbara Boland, the state president of Indiana NAACP, is one of the members of this committee. And so they did a press conference on August the 31st. And they want us to reject the Indiana plan concerning the electric vehicles because they're not including putting those charging stations in the neighborhoods, black neighborhoods, by black businesses. There seem to be, whereas we would use them just as much as anybody else, the poor neighborhoods and whatever. we already had all the coal ash and all other destruction areas, you know, in our neighborhoods. And so we have to go to doctor appointments and things like that. So they want to try to put them near hospitals, near daycares, near churches, near, you know, where everybody, the charging stations, everybody could have access to them. Plus, there's got to be a fee for the charging stations, for sure. So if they're near the black businesses, then maybe the black businesses can get some economic development through them. So they want us to contact our congressman and let them know that House Bill 1221 as it is not being inclusive. And so we don't want to accept that Indiana plan for the electric vehicles, because the minority bus lines, the workers, we're not being included in that. And there has been written correspondence gone to NDOT, but they have not been responded to where they're going to put the charging stations and what they're doing. It's already, California has already put in their plan that by 2035, there will be zero emission vehicles in their states. And 15 other states have done the same thing. They haven't put a timeline on it like California has, but by 2035, in other words, everybody's going to have electrical vehicles in California by 2035. And it might sound like it's not going to happen, but look at cell phones. When cell phones first came out, people, you know, didn't think much of it, and now we can't live without them. So it's going to happen.
Good. I'll have to admit, I haven't had a chance to watch that video, but it's up in my queue of tabs to actually pay attention to. And I would really encourage all of us to look at and take seriously the message that's delivered in that video.
Yes.
Because the one thing that I keep hearing from Washington, D.C. is that all of these bills that were passed that are now law, that an emphasis was going to be placed on serving communities of color and also serving people that lived in impoverished neighborhoods. So I agree with you, Faye, not only the NAACP, but everybody needs to be the guardian of that promise to be sure that when those funds start coming down to the local level, that they are not equally, but they are equitably distributed, okay? Inclusive. Okay, so thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. Do any of the any questions for Faye, I'm sorry, regarding that? Okay, any comments from the commissioners?
I just want to add.
Yeah.
IRA Act passed, so it still makes it a great time to go solar. You know, whether it's with NIPSCO or Solar United Neighbors, you know, there are plenty of resource hubs that are available for anybody in Indiana who wants to go solar and become energy efficient for whatever your reason is. That you can go to solarunitedneighbors.org, you know, and still find resources while there isn't a co-op available at this time. It is cheaper to go solar together, but you know, definitely look into the resources that are available, because this IRA Act that just passed makes it just, you know, the incentives makes it far more better. So whether we have net metering or not, it's still a great time to go solar. So that's
All right, and they extended a number of those federal, they're not called grants, they're not called kickbacks, they're like tax allowances, something like that. So people still do get that federal benefit on their income taxes through those extensions. Any public comments at this time? Do we have any public comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, none. Announcements? Anybody have announcements they'd like to make, Andy?
I have a couple. National Cleanup Day is September 16th. We don't have anything planned, but it's just September 16th, so go out there, clean some stuff up off the ground or whatever. Post your pictures. It'd be fun. And then LaPorte County Solid Waste is doing one of their 7-in-1 recycling drop-offs on the 17th, September 17th at the LaPorte County Fairgrounds in the morning, 8 to 1, I believe. And that 7-in-1 includes electronics, styrofoam, that's my favorite one, and sharps and pills, things like that. So check it out. And all of your cleaning and hazardous waste, all of those things as well. Saturday, the 17th.
You said from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Yeah, I believe.
Okay, that sounds right to me.
Yes.
Okay. Any other announcements? Okay, thank you. And adjournment, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn our meeting today?
I'll make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Nikki, thank you. And who will second that? Laura, thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Passes unanimously. And thank you so much. And I want to acknowledge Tristan for being back. We've missed you, so thank you. And I won't put you on the agenda until you ask me to do that, because I don't like to put people on the spot, okay? So we look forward to hearing from you. And I know I owe you some things, so, but I've chaired 3 meetings this week.
It's a phone.
Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, so
Explains so much, and I'm not at 100%.
it's
in the-
busy
does, but I-
right
I
now.
used to not
Okay,
believe in
thanks, Kevin. It's a wrap.